Thank you very much, Paul, for the introduction. Thank you all for coming here. It's really nice of you. And I'm really excited for me being here in in probably the largest animal protection organization in the world. It's really exciting. So my name is Ken, and I'm 30 years old. I'm from Israel, and I want to start with a story. I sat down on a dinner four years ago with my mother and brother, like we do every few weeks or so. And my mother served her famous marinated chicken wings. And I was very excited as a good Jewish boy. But my brother suddenly said, well, I'm not eating meat anymore. And I'm like, what? Yeah, man, I've sent you this guy's talk. You should watch it. I'm not taking part in this cruel industry anymore. And I've seen what he sent me. Best speech you will ever hear. Come on, right? 2 months later, I'm in an Irish pub with my friends, celebrating a birthday for one of my friends. I haven't seen him for 2 months. I've been buried under notes and books, 2 hours away from my hometown, studying computer engineering. But I heard him say to the waitress, "Are these onion rings with eggs on them?" And this was how I was informed that Ohad, the big guy in our gang, the guy who always in charge of the barbecue, has gone veg. And now it's not only my brother's crazy thing, it's another thing that another friend of mine is taking part of. So I came across this lecture, this talk, and I watched it. And I decided to immediately, I know something's going to change. I decided to try veganism for 1 month. I told my girlfriend back then, I'm going to try it. Exercise, practice, and try it on the kitchen and going outside, etc. And this was her reaction. Yes, and she really didn't like it, and really didn't like it that much, and we got... So I went veg, and I lost my girlfriend. But, well, we separated because of other things. She had a side thing with this meat eater. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, that's not true as well, but we got separated for other reasons. But this is my story back in 2011. And this is also the story of other vegan Israelis and activists who watched that inspiring lecture and decided to change themselves immediately, to change their diet, to go vegetarian or vegan, to go plant-based, and also to act on it. You might have heard about Ori Shavit, who started her food blog documenting her transformation as a food critic to veganism. She called it Vegans on Top, or in direct translation from Hebrew, Vegans Enjoy It Better. And Omri Paz, who founded Vegan Friendly, a nonprofit who is aiming to put veganism and vegan options in mainstream Israel. And this is how it all started. But let's see what happened in Israel in the last few years. So, first of all, I want to mention the undercover investigation perception in Israel. Since that lecture that was translated in about 2010, a lot of initiatives hit root in Israel. The undercover investigation perception and reception in Israel has been great. Anonymous for Animal Rights were the most leading organization to do so, with Ronan Bar leading the undercover investigation crew. And only in 2015 we had eight undercover investigation items on the biggest news channel in Israel. And this is huge because it was followed up by newspapers articles. And because of 8 items in that year, we are actually afraid now of exhaustion of this topic in the media and in the public. Since then, also, a lot of cooks popped out, and a lot of vegan foods and recipes were available online. Every event, every dish, every option had a vegan recipe for it. Ori Shavit, which I already mentioned, has won her food blog for the best food blog in Israel, any food blog, for 2 years in a row. And she has now been in the US for one tour talk in universities, and she's going to do another one. So many food blogs and recipes were available online, and it became easier to practice veganism in your kitchen or to practice any plant-based nutrition. Alongside with Ori's work, Vegan Friendly did similar work with certifying restaurants and businesses as vegan friendly. Every restaurant that had vegan options, desserts, main dishes, entrees, etc., had that sign on their window. So, and they had an index of restaurants who are vegan friendly all across Israel. So it really got easier to choose plant-based nutrition, plant-based going out and have vegan options outside. They did it with cafes, with restaurant chains, with pizzerias, and yes, also with Domino's Pizza. The first ever vegan Domino's Pizza all over the Domino's Pizza chain store in Israel. And it's not only the vegan cheese on the pizza, now we have, because it's so successful, we also now have many pastries that are has vegan options. And that's, for me, it's huge. You can have a vegan pizza 24/7 hours, 7 days a week, wherever you are in Israel, where you have Domino's Pizza. And 2 weeks ago, I was in Israel and sat down with my girlfriend at a cafe, at a restaurant cafe, which is widely known in Israel. It's called Landwehr Cafe. And I opened up the menu, and I saw the first page of the menu, the vegan way. Enjoy your vegan shawarma. Okay, that's their flagship dish now, a vegan shawarma in a restaurant which is well known all over Israel and has like 20 restaurants all over Israel. That's huge. They're promoting their vegan menu themselves. So Tel Aviv metro area now have more than 20 vegan restaurants, from small places to gourmet restaurants where you can have vegan options all over. A couple of years ago, like in 2012, we had 3, maybe. And not only that, we now have in all Israel more than 400 vegan-friendly restaurants. Again, 4 years ago, we didn't have any. And now we have so many. It's crazy. So no wonder that some places online called Tel Aviv as the vegan best place to be. The world's vegetarian foods is in Tel Aviv, and it's #1 now, as the Daily Mail declared it. #1 is the best destination for vegan travelers. Yes, so it's a mecca for vegan options, actually. And I want to tell you a story about a Georgian restaurant. Let me read you out the interview by Nana Schreier, so I won't miss anything that she said. Nana Schreier, owner of the stylish Georgian restaurant Nanuchka in downtown Tel Aviv, shocked Israel's culinary world when she removed all animal-based products from the menu overnight. A year later, the business is thriving, defying those who predicted its demise. Georgian-born Schreier was strongly advised not to convert her 14-year-old restaurant to vegan. My workers, accountant, lawyer, financial advisor, friends, and even my psychologist said such a successful restaurants need to be left alone. She said in an interview in Nanuchka's shady outdoor patio, "But I understood I have the privilege to influence through the restaurant." Schreier said turnover is up, with rave dishes including a Georgian dough stuffed with mushrooms and spinach, and nuts chinkali, stuffed dumplings served with soy yogurt. So this story is just an example of how big is the vegan movement in the culinary world in Tel Aviv and in all in Israel. Another thing that Vegan Friendly did is to certify certain products with a vegan friendly certification, actually. So a lot of food products, of course, but many other products as well, like even vegan shoes, right? And cosmetics. And everything that they could is marked with vegan friendly sign. And it's really easy to go out shopping that way. Also, an application was developed in Israel, which is called Go Vegan, and it's practically like Happy Cow, only in Hebrew, but again, it made things really easy for the animal lover to choose plant-based dish outside. We also have other events you probably know about, but I don't know how it is in here, but in Israel, the Independence Day, people really like to go out and barbecue. So what Vegan Friendly did is to create an alternative event, a meatless celebration, and it was a great success. We already had 3 of those, and you can see here a sign that says, "We celebrate differently," and offering the people an opportunity to experience this holiday differently and to experience meatless barbecue. They also did it with Shavuot, which is another holiday in Israel. The Shavuot holiday originally is a crop and harvest holiday. It's a celebration of the harvest. But the milk industry, to be honest, took control over this holiday and made it the milk holiday. And what Vegan Friendly did with this alternative event is to create a milkless holiday, which was very successful. Many families and many people, youths, can come and experience a milkless holiday, an alternative way to celebrate and have, of course, fun and have a lot of vegan options. They also held 2 veg fests by now, which were very successful. More than 10,000 of people have been there. And they also did 3 conferences by now. Another program which is very successful and made it easier for people is the Challenge 22 Plus program. It's a free program run by Anonymous for Animal Rights, and it is meant for people who want to experience veganism for 22 days. They register and go online on Facebook on a group with same people like them. And it's professional support and accompanied by clinical nutritionists, experienced cooks, vegan soldiers, vegan athletes, and so on. And what I think about this program, which is very crucial about it, is that the social support, to be a part of a community, even online, that is going through the same struggle that you do. And we know to change your diet is a struggle anywhere. And already in the last 2 years, more than 22,000 people have been in this program, and it has a great success rate, above 60%. People are staying vegetarian or vegan after a few months. Another campaign which is very successful, you might have heard about it, of course, Meatless Monday. So this is Miki Khaimovich. She is a celebrity in Israel. She was a news media person, and she decided that she wanted to bring the Meatless Monday campaign to Israel. And she did, and it is very successful among high-tech companies, schools, cafeterias, universities. And this is also a good sign of how people can experience meatless options. You can see here me advocating Meatless Monday or my university in Israel. And aside all those things, there's also other initiatives in Israel. The 269 Life establishment in Israel a few years ago made a lot of buzz, even worldwide. These people, from branding exhibitions to demonstrations to putting heads of animals on fountains in Tel Aviv, always tried to push the boundaries, and they did. Another group is the ALF Israel, which are not related to the Global Animal Liberation Front whatsoever, but they call themselves ALF Israel. And they also do a lot of protests and civil disobedience. But most importantly, I think that their leader, named Tal Gilboa, she got into a reality TV show, The Big Brother, in Israel. And what she did is to talk and promote animal rights on primetime TV. And this was great. When I was thinking about how to get into primetime TV, I thought about hacking into TV channels and broadcast conspiracy or Earthlings or something like that, right? But her move was brilliant. She got it from the inside and talked and promoted vegan diet and vegan lifestyle, and it was a great kick to the movement in Israel. And we activists, we always hoped every week that she would stay there. We thought that we hoped that she would stay there as long as she can. We never thought that she would win the reality TV show. And she won it, and by the way, on her way, on the 3 months that she spent on that house, she veganized a lot of the people in the house. And made a great impact as well on the public, the public dialogue. When she got out of the house, she got out with a T-shirt, with a shirt that says, "Meat is murder." So every shirt that she has on that show was saying animal rights whatsoever, animal rights message. So again, this was a great kick to the movement. We also have vegetarian president, which we were just lucky to have. We didn't do anything about it. Yes. So there is actually no week in Israel without any activity, without any protest, demonstration, media item, a meet-out table offering people to taste vegan foods. There's always a weekend with such activities. We also now have a nonprofit which was founded 2 years ago, the Modern Agriculture Foundation, which is committed to create the first ever cultured chicken meat. They have a side company which is called Remeat. I'm sure you'll be hearing about it soon. And as Paul mentioned, the number of vegans and vegetarians in Israel is crazy. And I want to show you about youth in Israel, because one out of 4 girls in Israel is identifying herself as vegan or vegetarian. And 18% of all youths are saying that they are vegetarians or vegans. The IDF reports that within those 4 last years, the amount of soldiers that declared they are conducting vegan lifestyle has quadrupled. That's crazy. So let's talk about the IDF even more. You probably read the article in The Atlantic about how vegan soldiers is big in Israel. And what does it mean for the army to do is to do 3 main things. First of all, supply with vegan options, vegan food on the base camps, provide leatherless shoes, and provide wool-less berets to those soldiers. And just a few months ago, this recipe booklet of the army was handed out to all the base camps of the IDF. And you can see here the title is Vegan Food Deemed. We never imagined that this can happen, but the army listened to the feedback, to the wishes of the many soldiers, and that's how it went in the army. It's really amazing, and it's really surprised at all. The Vegan North Association in the north of Israel has conducted a march for animals. And I want to tell you about this story because a lot of times I'm hearing about critics about Israel, that we do a vegan wash and we're treating our neighbors horribly, and how can we treat animals in a compassionate way. So this march for animals, united Israelis and Arabs together marching for animals. You can see here the signs that have Hebrew message alongside the Arabic message. And I want to show you a short video about this march.
אין לנו זכות לכבול, להרעיב, לחשמל, לגדוע איברים. אין לנו זכות לקחת חיים.
في اليوم اللي راح نفهم إنه فيش ظلم واحد أسوأ من ظلم آخر, بس بعدها راح ننجح نكسر كرباج الظلم. פעם ראשונה השילוב היהודי-ערבי למען בעלי חיים, וזו התחלה פנומנלית, והיא תמשיך והיא תתחזק.
I don't know if you saw that, but the speech at that march was 1 sentence in Hebrew and 1 sentence in Arab. So it was really exciting. It was huge. Just a second, please. And I think that next year they're going to double the number of people who are going to come there. And it's crazy because to me it's so exciting that Jews, Muslims, and Christians are all marching together for one cause, for for animal rights. This was very exciting. It was a precedent in Israel. Another march, which started 2.5 years ago, when just one guy decided that he's going to open a Facebook event for the greatest march for animals in Israel, and he brought 5,000 people to the streets of Tel Aviv. This year, the third march, we had over 10,000 people. We're expecting for the next march to have more than 20,000 people and maybe to be the biggest ever march for animals in the world. I want to show you again a quick video about that march because it was really impressive.
Feeling my way through the darkness, guided by a beating heart. I can't tell where the journey will end, but I know it starts. Tell me I'm too young to understand. They say I'm caught up in a dream. Well, life will pass me by if I don't open up my eyes. Well, that's fine by me. So wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wiser and I'm older. All this time I was finding myself and I didn't know I was lost. So wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wiser and I'm older. All this time I was finding myself and I didn't know I was lost.
All right, so it was very exciting. It was overwhelming, and I don't know if you saw or felt the atmosphere or the spirit. It was a really great march, and we're really looking forward for the next year. So the number of Israelis who went vegan or vegetarian really increased in the last 4 years. From 2.5% of the population which were vegetarian or vegan, we got to 5% vegans and 8% vegetarians. More than 1 million people in Israel are not eating meat today. And this increasement was occurred only in the last 4 years. So we are not, have yet seeing a decline in consumption or decline in the numbers of animals that are being killed each year for food, but we do see a decline in the production, in the consumption of animal products. We see that in the meat industry as well and in the milk consumption. So this is a great thing, but how did it happen? Why Israel? Is the Israeli society is more receptive to that message? What made it happen specifically in Israel? Let's talk about that a little. So first of all, we should talk about the trigger event. The trigger event, in my humble opinion, was the Gary Yourofsky's speech. I'm going to talk about it in a few seconds, but first of all, I want to talk about the promotion of that speech because I think it was nothing less than brilliant. Those two modest, humble guys named Chovav and Daniel translated this talk to Hebrew back in 2010. They never imagined what impact that speech would have. If you would ask them, they would also say they have no idea and they can't explain why this talk and this translation made it better and succeeded where others didn't. But soon as they understood the potential, they did two main things. One is they begged celebrities to watch that speech and comment about it. And they cited the comments in the website of the speech. And the second main thing that they did is to spread it around as much as they could. So they sent the speech to friends of friends, organizations, families. They did screening, whatever they could reach out. And it worked. The speech reach out has boomed, and it's now the most seen video in Israel and YouTube. So really the promotion was nothing less than brilliant. Okay, so the promotion was good, but what about the talk? Is the talk really good? Does it have anything which is very strong? So you might have heard about Gary Yourofsky. He's an American animal rights activist, and he's controversial. And I think that in American standards, he's pretty aggressive. He's pretty in your face, right? He's telling the truth as it is. But to be honest, we Israelis, we like it honest. We like authenticity. We are much more receptive to all the truth and nothing that is behind it or corners of it or something like that. You might have known about the Israeli direct communication skills, and it's really true. For people who are more used to that communication, we are much more able to listen to such communication as well. I also think that there are some other things in Israel which made it really, which made this message really receptive in Israel. And this specific reason is just a hunch, because I know a lot of girls in Israel who went vegetarian when they were little kids, when they were served a chicken breast or something like that. And you might have known that vegetarians or people who eat less animals are much more receptive to, are much more willing to reduce even more their animal consumption. So I think that there were a lot of people in Israel who were already vegetarian before the revolution in Israel. But there are other things. I think that in Israel, we are used to, and we grew up with the concept, with the perception of there are some foods which we are okay with, that we are able and allowed to eat, and there are some foods that we don't. They are wrong, whatever the reason is. And I know kosher, it's a Jewish thing, but in Israel, it's a country, it's a state thing, right? It's a nation thing. You can have it also it's also practical. When you go to the supermarket, there is no product which is not certified as kosher or not. And I don't know if you know about kosher, but the only thing as a vegan to check on a product for me is it kosher and does not have any eggs in it. That's it. So it's really, first of all, easy, practical to find kosher places, to find kosher products in Israel. But I also think that even more importantly, again, the concept of growing up as some foods are okay and some foods are not, and just to add more restrictions to the not okay foods, is easier for Israelis. I think, again, in my opinion, if I will say that to the average American that now he can't have any foods or he shouldn't, it's inconceivable. It's no way, right? What are you talking about? Why can't I have anything that I want for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? So this is the first thing. This is another thing. Let us not forget that Israel is in the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean diet is really rich with grains, legumes, vegetables, and fruits. We are used to eat a lot of those food groups, and it does have an impact. Some technicalities about Israel. Israel is very, very small. It's so small that you can barely see it as relative to the U.S. And actually, when I tried to see how small Israel is relatively to the U.S., I found some pictures I really like. So Israel can be contained within the Lake Michigan, and it's also not higher than the height of California State. But what about? How is it good? So ideas spread around very, very fast in Israel. Because we are so small, we only have one big news channel and other two which are really, really small. So once you get that undercover investigation item on that news channel, you got most of public awareness. You don't have to reach out for other channels as well. And it's also true for newspapers as well, because we have one big newspaper and two or three others which are really niche. So ideas spread around really fast in Israel as well. Last but not least, I want to mention that the movement pre-2011 was somewhat successful. Anonymous for Animal Rights and Let the Animals Live did a good job. In 2003 already, foie gras was banned in Israel. So it's illegal to raise or to sell foie gras in Israel. It is legal, though, to import it and use it whatsoever. But it is a precedent, right? And for circuses which include wildlife animals, it's also illegal in Israel as well. Horse carriages in Tel Aviv is illegal. So there are precedents for the animal protection movement in Israel which made it easier. Okay, so we talked about all these, what happened in Israel and what made it happen. Again, in my humble opinion, we can talk about it actually hours. It's really interesting. But what can we learn from it, right? What can we adopt from Israel? So let's talk about a few insights. Some of them I thought about. So yes, the all or nothing message did work in Israel. I think that because Israelis are emotional, we like it authentic, we like the whole truth, the all or nothing worked. But let us not forget that it only worked for 5% and 8%, or totally increased the number of vegans and vegetarians by 10% and not more. So the all or nothing message worked, but for only 10% of the population, and I always think that this is the way for the all or nothing message. We are the early adopters. We are the ones that heard the truth and decided immediately to change our diet and to go act on it. But this is not true for the majority. I think that it's not true for the majority. The majority needs something else. And I think that many reducitarians, vegetarians, and vegans in Israel made that choice because it was easier for them, since it got really easy in the last few years to be vegan or to be reducitarian in Israel. The sea of vegan options in Israel is really make life easy. And it's also socially accepted. Whereas 5 years ago it was fringe, it was a niche thing. Today it's mainstream in Israel. There is no restaurant chain in Israel, there is no cafe chain, there is no ice cream chain in Israel which don't have vegan options in it. And I'm not talking about sorbets, ice cream. I'm talking about real vegan ice creams. So I think it became really easy and socially accepted in Israel to do that. And I think when I talk about strategy in Israel, I think that strategy is a function of three things. It's this function of time, place, and the people who are situated in this time and place. And I think Israel is a great case study for that strategy. But let us not forget that different strategies act different in different places and times. But I invite you to, I think you should keep an eye on Israel. I think that Israel, there's much more to come from it. And we can test a lot of strategies that are happening and taking place in Israel. It's a hub of diverse activism, and it's a really good place to watch and learn and to see what we can adopt from it. And I invite you to Israel. I invite you to come and taste the full and rich taste of it, the energies, the spirit, the activism, the great hummus, falafel, tabbouleh, right? It's a really, really good place to be in as a vegan, as a vegetarian, and to learn from. The markets are rich and they're full of tastes. And to conclude, I just think that we Israelis are now more focused on the majority, or the message that will have the impact for the majority. And if you won't come to Israel and accept my invitation, so keep an eye on Israel, not because of the frustrating dispute between Israelis and Palestinians, but because of the fast-growing movement in Israel of animal lovers, of people who want to protect animals, of people who are reducing their animal consumption and want to create a better place for animals in Israel. And maybe create the first ever vegan nation in the world. Thank you very much.